Jeffrey's almost given up hope. Maybe just one more text. That's 4 in a row now, Jeffrey. Come on, if she's not responding by... Jeffrey, not 5. 5 texts in a row with no response, Jeffrey. His crush is repulsed by his level of emotional investment in her. He goes to sleep thinking about her. He wakes up and he's thinking about her. In school, in work, he's thinking about her. This is the life of the bottom 80 to 90% of men. They obsess over women, whilst women obsess over Adonis. Adonis is the ultimate male, for he has hit life from all angles. His aesthetics, wealth, social skills, confidence, mental health. He brings the full package, and that means that Adonis is in the top 10% of men who actually get attraction from women these days. But what's interesting is that Adonis doesn't really pay attention to them. He's focused on his mission, his goals, his purpose. Modern men could learn a thing or two from Adonis. Why are you in the bottom 80 to 90% of men? Now, first of all, to find out if you are in this bottom group, simply just ask yourself, have you been fucking recently? Have you been sleeping with girls over the last month? Or at the very least, have you very, very clearly, don't bullshit yourself, have you very clearly got women who want to sleep with you and you maybe have just chosen not to, for sake of like religion or your focus on something else? So many guys here will answer this question wrong, dishonestly. They delude themselves into thinking that I'm on semen. No, you're not on semen retention. Girls just don't want to fuck you. There's a difference. Be totally honest with yourself and hold yourself accountable, because if you can hold your hand up and say, you know what, it sucks to admit it, but I am in like the bottom 80% of men. I haven't improved myself enough yet. And women just, you know, there's a few girls who, you know, have shown me a little bit of interest, but no girl quite clearly thinks that I'm like a Chad who really, really wants to sleep with me. If you can have that level of honesty, you can make some progress. But the majority of men will delude themselves into either thinking that women are all hoes, so why aren't they your hoe then, bitch? Or they'll think, you know, women are all bad people, so shut the fuck up. Like, oh, men go, shut up, bro. Or they'll say like, oh, I'm on semen, the best 7 benefits of semen retention. Shut up, bro. Semen retention, shut up. Semen retention and being celibate only count if you could actually fuck. Say that with me. Semen retention and being celibate only count if you could actually fuck. Being sat here saying like, oh yeah, I'm on day set, bro. It doesn't count if no girls actually want to fuck you, okay? Come on. So you know clearly whether you're in this group that we're discussing here. Why are you here? The reason why you are in this bottom group of men, and it's a big, significant group, the majority of men, is because you've been following the wrong blueprints. You've been brainwashed by the modern society around you to be weak, to be feminine. You've been conditioned to be attracted to more masculine girls, and yet you don't bring what they actually want to the table. And so you're left being seen as like a sexless prospect, which women aren't interested in. It's interesting that as soon as you get the right blueprints, like the truth of attracting women, they'll start flirting with you, they'll start holding your eye contact, you'll actually start being able to escalate and being sexual in the conversations, and maybe you'll start dating or actually hooking up with these girls. It all just depends on the blueprint that you follow. And most young men have been following like the modern day politically correct blueprints. Be nice to her, be a good man, open up about your feelings, make sure you communicate and all this shit, bro. Those things can help, but the true, not dark, but like the unsexy answer to be in the top like 10% of men who actually have the attraction from women, quite frankly, I'm gonna tell you one of them. You have to be hot. You have to be attractive. You have to be physically attractive. How much women value a man's looks has skyrocketed over the last few years because most people are very addicted to like social media and online dating, and that is where your looks is literally 90%, 99% of the game. Anyone who tells you that like looks don't matter is probably trying to sell you some like game pickup artist course. Now your looks matter, but that does not mean that you should go way onto the far end and take like the black pill and start thinking like, oh, well, you know, I should just give up then because I'm not attractive. Because the overwhelming majority of men, more than 90% of men, have the potential to be attractive. There's only there's a lot of talk online these days, you know, because more and more men are realizing how important looks are. And there's so many men who have just dropped out of like the race by themselves because they just think like, oh, well, I'm not a model, I'm not going to be attractive. The overwhelming majority of men, I would say more than 90% of men, have the potential to become like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. As long as you're above, in my opinion, as long as you're above like a 5 out of 10 overall in your looks as a guy, you at least can get your foot into the door. The majority of guys on average, I would say, are between 3 to 5 out of 10 in looks, and they have the potential to bump up to like a 6 or a 7 with a couple of years of looks maxing, building the 10 out of 10 aesthetic physique, like the sexy body that women, it sounds kind of cringe, but women do lust over. If you've ever read female erotica, or if you've ever seen the kind of porn that women actually watch, they will never, ever, ever really say this out loud, but they would never consume like porn content which features like a fat, overweight guy. They'll never consume it which features like a really skinny, weak looking motherfucker, the one thing that they fantasize, if you've read any, you know, for the sake of research of like erotica or some shit, it's always, it's like a muscular hunk. He doesn't have to be like full on steroid massive. I think I've gotten to the point now where I'm slightly pushing like a little bit too big. No. Honestly, I'm still not. I still don't think I've got to the point where I'm considered too big by women. I'd actually say like right now is the size where I'm most attractive to women, especially if I bulk up a little bit more and I can't get the lean like jawline and abs look. I'm 6'1" and 190 pounds right now. And so to reverse this, the reason why you're in the bottom 80% of men, specifically regarding your looks, is because you either haven't even started your looks maxing journey, or you just have and you haven't made enough progress just yet. You need to begin your looks maxing journey with the utmost belief that you have the potential to become quite an attractive guy. Now, you don't need to be like those ultimate like fuckboy looking models. A lot of those guys Photoshop their pictures and they take like, you know, the best lighting and everything. They're not actually as attractive as they appear to be, and you don't need to be on that level. As a man, you just kind of need to be attractive enough and then bring other qualities, especially if you're a bit older. If you're like 16, 18 years old and you're dating girls who really use TikTok, then yeah, literally looks is going to be 99% of the battle there, and a little bit of like confident, not even that. Honestly, when you're young, even not having confidence is absolutely fine, because there's not many guys who do have it, and the guys who do have confidence but then aren't attractive and they're kind of like, you know, just to be honest, I don't even know if I'm telling the truth, because I don't know how fucking dating works for like high school and college. That's just my assumption. Maybe it's better to go get advice from someone who's like 16, 18 years old and see what they're saying. I would assume that the guys who are doing the best in the dating game for like guys who are quite young, 16, 18 years old, are those like pretty looking fuckboy kind of like TikTokers where they've got like slightly longer hair and like nice jawlines and they just do like silly dances or some shit. But as soon as you turn into a man, which seems to happen around age 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, women start really valuing other things, and a big part of that isn't necessarily your personality, but it's more so your masculinity. So are you a little bitch? Are you like feminine? Are you emotional? Are you too focused on her and love, and it's kind of like a little bit repulsive to women when you're like really obsessed over them? Or are you ambitious and focused on goals, which is incredibly attractive to women, especially of course when you get to like 25, 30 years old? So ask yourself right now, are you bringing these traits? Are you masculine? Do you have like a strong, attractive mind? Are you ambitious? These are things that I don't often hear people talk about online, like, you know, these like young 20-year-olds who discuss like, oh, how to get girls. Like, they fucking cringe, like YouTube channels. They never talk about these things, and I think simply because they're just so young that they're only dating girls who like aren't used to men, and they're used to like grown-up boys instead. And when you're like 18, 20 years old, to be like successful with girls, you literally just have to be like the fun of the party, or just be like attractive on TikTok and Instagram. But as you get a little bit older, and especially when you get deeper into self-improvement and you're not really in those spaces anymore, and you're trying not to attract girls who are in those spaces of like being obsessed with TikTok or parties and low quality, you know, drug-filled environments, and you start meeting girls in like wholesome ways, like the gym or yoga classes or in like a grocery store, instead of like the sort of cringe online dating space, you start realizing that they really expect like a new tier of man. And this is where success and wealth comes in. Perhaps one of the reasons why you're in the bottom 80% of men is simply because you're a loser. You've never wanted to accept that. No one's ever felt confident enough or brutal, insulting enough to say it to your face. But right here, right now, if women aren't attracted to you and you're probably, you know, you're above 22, 23 years old, I'm telling you the truth. It's because you're a loser. It's because you do nothing exciting, fun with your day. It's because you haven't built up a good level of success. You work like an unsexy, low-paying job. You drive like a little shitty car. You don't have like a winner's mindset. You're not relentless. You're not disciplined. You're not ambitious. You're an average guy, maybe below average guy, expecting the results of the guys who are above average. It gets as simple as that when you're a little bit older and there's like other variables that are included in the dating game. Quite frankly, if you're struggling with women, it's literally just because you're a loser in some sense. And I know this is fucking brutal, but sometimes you need like a slap in the face. Sometimes you need to talk to someone who will tell you what you need to hear instead of what you just want to hear. Like I said at the start of this video, you've been fed that comfortable lie all of your life. Just be yourself. That only works if you yourself is already like a winner, a Chad. Just be yourself, and, you know, don't really think about these things. You'll make a girl happy one day, bro. That advice doesn't work if yourself, you are a loser. If you are a loser, which you know that you are, do not bullshit yourself. Winners do not watch videos like this. I know that's an insult to pretty much everyone who's watching, but the truth is, if you were truly like a winner, like a successful person, you wouldn't be watching videos like this. You wouldn't have clicked on a video like, oh, why 80%? Shut the fuck up, bro. As much as that hurts your feelings and it makes you pissed off and you really hate this guy on the screen with his sweaty bathrobe, bro, take the lesson from this. Where actually are you in the race of men? Because if you're in that group, like way far back, the group of like little fat kids who aren't even running, you're probably not still there. You know, that like if you had to view the analogy of like men competing against each other as like a race that we used to have in like school when we did sports day, the little fat kids who aren't even running are like the guys, like the Jeffreys who are 20 years old and literally just fapping and jacking off and everything and just watching porn and Netflix and smoking weed. You're probably a little bit faster than them. You're probably like the little skinny fat brown kid who's just struggling to run. Like you are like jogging, so you know, fair enough, I guess you have some respect, but like you're not doing that well. You've not been training. You don't have like a killer's mindset. At least you're jogging. That's progress. At least you're not one of those little fat kids at the back. View your life as a race, and it's very interesting. And just ask yourself, what kind of runner are you? If you really visualize like the runs, like, you know, that we used to have in like sports classes, you can pretty much like, I don't know if this is a universal thing, but like you can pretty much see exactly what I'm talking about. With those really athletic, competitive guys, like, you know, lapping everyone with their way at the front. They're the guys who had like a six-pack in high school and everything. They're doing really well. They're the best of the class. And so of course, the rewards, the attraction goes all towards them. Then there's a bunch of guys behind them and they do pretty well. But if you're a little bit slower than that, you're part of the majority of men who are just totally invisible. No one gives a fuck about the guy who gets 5th place, even 4th place. So where are you in this race right now? One thing that you absolutely have to keep in mind is that where you are in this race is not set in stone. Perhaps right here, right now, you can't run any faster because you're tired. But if you keep training, if you stay competitive, if you stay relentless, the next race, you'll be a little bit faster, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next, and your success will compound. And soon enough, you'll be in the 3rd spot. You'll start to achieve a level of attraction, success, attention that fuels you, makes you feel really happy and content and fulfilled. It all comes down to just the actions that you choose. So will you or will you not delay gratification for your future self? Will you put in the work? Will you go to the gym when you don't feel like it? Will you wake up early? Will you meditate, journal, read? Those things will push you to be faster in this race of men. Or you can be like one of those fat kids at the back. All the excuses you want to use, like video games is fine for 1 hour a day. Weed makes me creative. Which one? Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.